We're good when you're ready.
We'd like to bring the Plaquemine Parish Council meeting to order at 2:02. Do roll call. And
Councilmember McCarty.
Sorry, I'm not here.
Ms. Cho's not here. Okay. So we have seven council members present. Dr. Gouy is absent, and so is Councilman Cooper. We have enough for a quorum. We'll now have the Councilman Gouy. Let's have the prayer by Councilman Newsom and the pledge by Councilwoman Patty. McCarty.
Please bow. We'd like to take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give Him thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom. And we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this governing body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and courage to do which is right. Amen.
Trying to face the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I don't think we have any executive session, right? No executive session, right?
No.
Okay. You like to bring it up?
Sea Grant, yeah, Sea Grant. Come up.
Not yet, not yet. No, you don't need the mic with you, Tom.
Jeff, who needs these tips for the seafood festival?
Because that way they can
After the, can they do it after the administration?
Yeah.
Administration.
Let's
Okay.
proceed with the,
Okay, 2, executive session, there are none. 3, proclamations, there are none. 4, administration updates.
good afternoon.
This time, in the administration, 2 weeks ago, we held the 10th annual One Sack Crawfish Challenge in the Bell Chase Festival grounds. There were no issues, and everything all went off really well. This week, Billy's team has been preparing and prepping for the 21st annual Plaquemine Parish Seafood Festival. That's going to be held this weekend from Friday to Sunday. Grass cutting, ditch cleaning, and individual residential complaints are always being addressed by Mr. Wisher's department. For Mr. DeMarco, the Woodlawn Fire Station was given a notice to proceed and has been given. Materials have been ordered. The remodel for that is to begin in the next couple of weeks. The river stage, because of projections of the river stage over 11 feet, all projects within 1,500 feet of the river that involve any excavation, they're on hold. The Fort Sulphur clear well design is in continuance. The Fort Sulphur concrete package is on hold. The Bell Chase water pump project is on hold as well. The Bell Chase generator transfer switch, the testing, it was successful. That project is now complete. The multi-purpose pavilion control panel transfer switch is scheduled to be installed on the 28th. For Ms. Morrison, she's pleased to announce that CEAs have been executed between the Arts, Parks, and Recreation Department and Prominent Youth Foundation, as well as the Special Olympics of Louisiana. These partnerships will increase and enhance current recreation programs and services offered across the parish. Full details of these partnerships are available on this website. Opening day for the 2025 rec baseball and softball season is scheduled for Saturday, May 3rd, with a team parade beginning at 8 a.m. and the first pitch at 9 a.m. All are invited and encouraged to attend. The Safe Sitter program returns Saturday, May 3rd. Registration is open via league apps. For more information, please visit the parish website under Arts, Parks, and Recreation. From Ms. Buck in Coastal, the Fritchie Marsh Mitigation Project has started construction at 100% cost to the Corps as part of the NOV project. Chandelier Island, the second oldest national wildlife refuge in the country, is moving into the construction phase. The Seymour contract was awarded to Weeks Marine. Breton Land Bridge is moving into construction phase. We've entered into flood fight activation phase 1. What this means is the Corps are doing inspections twice a week on the Mississippi River levee. Phase 2 is expected on or about April 20th or the week of the 21st. For Mr. Marco in Economic Development, Plaquemines Day at the Legislature was held at the Pentagon Barracks yesterday in Baton Rouge, and it was a great success, and I want to thank all who attended. The tolling on the Belle Chase Bridge is now saying it's going to go into effect April 29th at 12:01. After the contractor completes final details, this schedule is subject to change based on inspections and weather. And that's really not hurting anyone's feelings there. The next phase of construction, the X Street project, is estimated to take 16 weeks for completion. That's the project that comes off of Engineers Road under the bridge and leads into the northbound Highway 23. Tolls, 25 cents for parish residents with the transponder. If you don't have the transponder, it's $1.13 out of parish residents with transponder, $2.26 anyone without a transponder. Peters Road Extension, on Thursday, April 17, DOTD Selection Committee held an in-person meeting at DOT headquarters to review consultant proposals for Phase 3 of the Peters Road Bridge and Extension. As per Kurt Broad, voting results have been shared with Secretary Donahue, and a decision should be made in the next few weeks. Both Plaquemines Parish government and the port were there in attendance to overview and to see the process. The preliminary design contract duration is 1.5 years. However, DOTD shared that it should be less than that. So we're looking forward to that project to be moving forward. So that's all the team has for right now.
Audience, any comments, response for the audience? Table? Comment?
Yes, I'd like to bring up one subject about the levees in Fort Jackson. Mr. Jurasich posted a video of an incident the other day, and I agreed with him. Shouldn't be done. Did the boy hurt the rocks? No, he didn't. But people don't look into around what happens after the fact. They do donuts right where the bridge is too. Well, I cut grass on Tuesdays after work. And if you ever noticed driving a lawnmower over rocks in the grass, it's like a machine gun throwing rocks out. So if I break my window or somebody else's window passing by, are those people doing the donuts gonna pay for the windows or the damage? No, I'm gonna have to pay for it. And, they don't look at the big picture. And people complain that the grass is 10 feet high. Well, I'll cut grass Tuesday, and the only 10-foot grass they got is where I can't get with the lawnmower. And for the cleanup day, all the people who complained about the fort being so nasty, I never seen none of them come volunteer. And I appreciate y'all letting me do that, giving me a lawnmower to do it. And, you know, if people are worried about it that much, they're more than welcome to come. I have another lawnmower there that the tourism board bought that I gladly let them use while I'm cutting grass too. So if the people, and like somebody said, over 250 people responded to one of the videos, and, you know, he took the criticism, which shouldn't have been. You know, the law is the law, and people was getting on me, well, where they supposed to ride? Y'all made a bird sanctuary right below the fort in the trees. We can't go in there. Make it make sense to me. I said, well, you want it to make sense? The tourism board found a group that's willing to pay to build a walking trail in there for people to go bird watch. It's the parish's property. If they don't want you in there with a four-wheeler, you can't go in there with a four-wheeler. That's it. And Billy cut the grass at the four-wheeler track last year. Not one person went back there. And I see he's cutting it again. So we'll see how many people go ride on the track. You know, and I can guarantee you it won't be many. But that's my deal today.
Mr. Champagne.
Thank you. Yeah, first of all, I'd like to commend Mr. Marco and the parish volunteers and businesses who participated in Blackman's Day yesterday. It was a great opportunity to showcase the parish, and I will tell you, it went exceedingly well. We were able to network with several important officials of the state and tell them about Blackman's Parish and what we have to offer. So well done. I'm already looking forward to next year. The other thing is, Mr. President, really appreciate you and the port being involved in the Peters Road Bridge. We need to keep that in the forefront of everyone's thinking, because that is the future of our parish. Appreciate your efforts there, and the only thing I would recommend is we need to get Jefferson Parish sitting on side of you at these meetings, because they definitely help out. I know it's in their best interest as well. So I thank you for that as well. I yield.
Mr. President, it's my understanding that Plenary has stopped communicating with administration about issues that we're bringing forward. So I know that the residents still have problems, like, for instance, there's a water line, and I asked the water department if this temporary water line that's been there for over a month that keeps getting repaired and turning off the water is part of Infomark, and they said no. So I'm trying to get Plenary to respond to that, and I've asked Mr. Brule to communicate with them, and they're not communicating with us anymore. So I'd like to know if we can get on the phone with Mr. Donahue and press upon this communication point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, also, Mr. President, what Brian said, thank you and your staff and all administrators for putting on a wonderful event at Blackman's Day at the Capitol. It was wonderful. A lot of folks showed up. It was raining, but people still were coming. The food was excellent, and it just was a great event. And as Brian said, we'll look forward to it next year. So kudos to you and your staff. Also, Mr. Champagne, we talked through the port meeting. I think Jefferson Parish does have it through CR or CS. They have a seat at the table with the bridge also. So they are in attendance. With that, I yield.
Mr. LaFrance.
Yes, with the Corps of Engineers having that 1,500 feet stop work, are we still able to sweep ditches?
Not if it's within the 1,500 feet, no.
Okay,
We can cut them, we can cut, just not dig.
yeah. I think we had a purification, clean up the boot or whatever. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I had some residents calling me around the Myrtle Grove area. I guess maybe when y'all came down, y'all saw some of the black garbage bag on side of the road. They was asking me if we could pick that up.
In the Myrtle Grove area?
Yeah.
It should have already been picked up, but I'll follow up on it.
Okay, and some of the residents from Lake Hermitage had their signs removed. Are we removing any signs?
What type of signs?
Signs that advertise they log cabins or RV spots. It wasn't us.
No.
Good.
No.
Good. Thank you. No. Yeah. I don't think it was them either. They usually do that when it's election time.
Say, Mr. Frank?
Yes, sir.
Again, we're having two community meetings this week. One on Tuesday at the Aaron Green Center behind Bethlehem Baptist Church. And we have another one on Thursday, May the 1st. It's our annual community meeting where we talk about all the things that resident happening. I think the administration have a copy and see all the issues that's on it. And we hope that to be in attendance to answer the question that resident. We have Mr. Drexel Northeast here, who is the president of the Fishermen and Concerned Citizen. And y'all know the governor of the East Bank, Mr. Brockton, have to tell you who he is. And so we hope that you be able to come and address the thing that we have on the issue. And so thank you for that. Okay, next item. For you, oh, I'm sorry. For you, we will.
I got one other thing for Mr. Brock now. He keeps saying we get everything on the West Bank, but I see he's got a helicopter behind the place over there, so we want a helicopter too.
Mr. Brock, don't let him know how that happened. We're gonna leave that alone. You see, we're gonna leave that alone. But if you need a ride home this evening, we'll get you home. Yeah. All right, next item, please.
Are we doing?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mitch. Yeah, we want to bring something on the agenda. I'm sorry, the people from is it Sea Grant? I'm sorry, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Louisiana Sea Grants are present. We'd like you to come with your presentation now. I'm sorry, Mitch. Well, we're gonna, move 11A up now. Whatever one it is.
11C.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing us on short notice. Dominique would be here today, but they're having state meetings in Baton Rouge today. So I want to thank the council and administration for letting me talk for just a couple of minutes. We were informed last week, the Ag Center comes under, federally, we come under USDA. Sea Grant comes under NOAA. So we were informed at the beginning of last week that the category that NOAA is under, which I think it is climate, has been or is going to be done away with. So what I'm trying to do, today the president's budget is supposed to come out. So I just came before you guys, or I'm coming before you guys, just to say that, Sea Grant's a very critical part of what we do in the Ag Center. They work across the state. They're very, very important, I think, in coastal parishes especially. I've given you two sheets. One is what Dominique kind of does on a day in and day out basis, and the other is like a support letter for legislators about what Sea Grant does in our state. So basically, I may be jumping the gun a little bit, but my request is, should we find out that the Sea Grant has been terminated, that we can write some letters of support coming from the council, coming from administration, just to support what Sea Grant does in Plaquemines Parish. And that's really the long and short of it.
Okay. I'll let Mitch Justin in.
Yeah, so this funding that's getting cut off is the federal funding.
Yes, sir.
The state still has Sea Grant funding.
Well, the way I understand it, that's a good question, and I'm not familiar enough with all of this. I was talking to Dr. Caffey last week, and he was saying that federally, what we receive from NOAA only amounts to about like a month's worth of salaries. So, but it's still an important component federally of our programming, so I don't know what all that means if it's cut.
Right. Okay, that was the question. And I guess what I would ask, we got this letter in front of us. Maybe at the next meeting, we can adopt the resolution to.
I didn't have a letter. I don't think I have just one page.
Okay, you don't have the second page?
No, I don't have a second page.
I got a letter right here.
Okay.
Yeah, unless,
But it,
I'm sorry, I was writing on the back.
no, that's okay. But the thing of it is, it may come out that they don't get cut today. I don't know, but I'm just trying to be on the front end of this, that's all.
so, yeah, we'll go ahead and, at the next
Okay.
meeting, we'll go ahead and, if they do cut it,
Right.
there'll be a purpose to do it. Right now, until they give us a purpose to do it, we'll hold off for a second.
Okay.
You know, if y'all good with that, everybody?
Writing the letters, yeah, I don't think.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Wade.
Okay, well, thank you very much for seeing me today, guys.
Mr. Francis,
Well, I just wanted to ask them,
Ian, please, or pull your microphone down.
I can't keep it there.
so the C grant is a federal grant,
Yes, sir.
and it has been cut.
We don't know that completely yet. We heard that they were going to be cut
Okay.
because of the category that they fall under. To me, it just seems like it's a matter of it's in column A or column B. I don't know. But NOAA does house Sea Grant. We come under USDA. So like, for instance, Anna Timmerman, you know her, our county agent, she's had some of her funding cut because it's federal funds. But there's nothing about the elimination of the department. It just seems to be the category that they're in, is the way I'm taking it.
So who's cutting the funds?
That would be the president,
And who?
President Trump. This is all coming federally. This is coming from NOAA. Okay? So we don't know if it's going to be, like I said, a direct cut, or maybe they can be pushed into another category. I don't know, but I think they're just an important part of what not we only do across the nation, but especially in Louisiana and especially along our coastal parishes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So again, once you find out, come back to us, it's just sitting there writing a letter of support.
Yes, sir.
I stand the letter and we'll sign it. I don't think that
Yes,
was a
sir.
problem.
Hopefully I don't have to come back for that, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, please.
No, you still have Mr. McCarty.
I'm sorry. I think McCarthy has something.
Would LSU assist us in writing or petitioning to our our U.S. representatives and senators?
Yes, ma'am. That's one of those, the one that's made up to the congressman, that was generated by LSU. So they may, if it does come that we get cut, they may take a delegation to
Excellent.
DC. I don't know.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next item, please.
5, bids and advertisements. A resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to advertise for and dispose of surplus vehicles and equipment on an as-is basis through public auction conducted by Henderson Auctions and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer. Second. Any comments on the audience? Administration table. Floor is open. Machine is open, sir. And it passed with all council member present. Next item.
6, beer and liquor licenses. We have to add one to the agenda.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, that's from Mr. Schultz. You want to read it?
Circovich Fuel Center LLC, 7876 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana.
I'll offer it.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table. Oh, yeah, let's do let's wait for the suspend the rule first.
If you're gonna add it to the agenda, you have to have a motion to add it, which has to pass unanimously.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule to add this to the agenda. Can I get a second? Okay, let's open the machine for all those for the vote.
You have to ask if there's any public comment on adding it to the agenda.
Anybody in the audience, any comment about us adding this to the agenda? Administration, table, machine is open for adding this to the agenda. And it passes with all 7 council members present. Now I'd like to offer a resolution to take it up.
You have to offer, to suspend the rules and take up the resolution because it wasn't. The mandatory amount.
Can I get a second? Been second. Any comments on the audience? Administration table, machine is open. For suspension. For suspension. And it passes with all 7 council members present.
Now you can take up the resolution.
Now I'll offer it. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, okay. The second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration table. Machine is open for voting. And it passed with, all 7 council members present. Next item.
Seven building permits. 7B, All Saints Holdings LLC, conditional approval for a new temporary RV park for 36 spaces, 27181 Highway 23 and 27066 Port Sulphur River Road, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Councilmember LaFrance.
So often.
Second by,
Yeah.
no, I don't think you can take all these.
Why don't y'all let me know which ones y'all want to take separately?
Yeah. We're gonna take these separate.
Okay.
We're just gonna take B?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we need a second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? The administration table? Oh, I'm sorry. We're on B.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. This has been deferred quite a few times. Is this one of the ones that was operating with more spots than they were supposed to have, or is this something new? Because it's been deferred a few times. And I know last week, last council meeting.
I have deferred this item, because I wanted to give the people the opportunity to.
Mr. LaFrance, can you speak closer to the mic?
I wanted to give them the opportunity to come to my office and sit down and meet with me.
Okay.
However, they didn't. In speaking to the residents in that community, they are totally against this project, so I'm not supporting it.
So this has been one that was before your moratorium, this was in the works?
Yes,
It was?
yes.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments from the audience? Administration table?
Mr. DeMarco, you would you chime in?
This park has I'm sorry, they had infrastructure in place for 3, which was out of compliance. So they are not in compliance at this time.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Table? So we're voting. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Champagne.
I looked at this and everything on here says they're in compliance.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Mark says they're approved, so are we approved or not? Again, this goes back to inconsistency of reporting yet once again. Because I'm reading Infomark's report done February 6, 2025, and it is approved with the initials KS next to it, which says to me that this is approved. So we need to get our ducks in a row. Either we're good to go or we're not. We're having this issue with trailer parks, subdivisions. This inconsistency is making us look ridiculous when it's time to vote up here. When the 9 of us have to make a decision we have to live with, and we get this inconsistent reporting. I'm getting fed up with this. Is it in compliance or it isn't? Because it says it is now. Did they miraculously get out of compliance between February and now? Which one is it? I yield.
Infomark approved for the conditional, although the contractor came and started installing infrastructure before their conditional approval. We have not, Mr. Mitra, correct me if I'm wrong, we've reached out, but we have not heard back from these folks to remove any infrastructure that they installed.
It came to light yesterday. I had the code enforcement and our building inspector go out prior to the meeting to make sure that all of the ones that are on the agenda are in compliance or out of compliance. In between the time that it was first on the agenda, till yesterday, they had an additional spot that was added. And since then, now we're saying it's out of compliance.
So the vote that we're casting right now, Mr. LaFrance, is to deny. That's my.
Yeah, I'm not supporting it.
Okay.
But the vote is for approval.
No, I'm asking you. I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Mitra. So, in other words, it's just like the other ones that were not in compliance that come before us. And, you know, if we're gonna be consistent, Brian, you know, if he's out of compliance, I mean. Right. No, I agree, but totally out of
I
compliance.
received the information at like 4:15 yesterday. You all were gone, and that's why I'm here today, in case if you had. That is correct, but I am here today to answer those questions.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Thank you.
The council also is going to have to ultimately make a decision on what it wants to do with parks that are out of compliance. Because the initial thinking on this was a few people may be out of compliance, whether or not it was intentional or not intentional. We wanted to get everybody in. And we wanted to get everybody in, and to the extent these parks were needed in certain areas and the parish needed them, we were, going to approve it if they acted in good faith and it was something that we thought would be beneficial for the parish. If the council is now deciding or would like to decide that any application that is out of compliance from the get-go at the time of application or at the time of approval, we're just simply not going to approve, and you could say, we're not going to approve it for a year, or for 6 months or whatever it may be. I think that based off some of the prior council meetings we've had, we need to make that decision now, and we can either do it by ordinance or the administration could do it by rule. And that way we can ensure we're acting uniformly across the board on these in compliance, out of compliance issues.
Mr. Conovich.
Can we put it on that renewal for the trailer park, the temporary, say, compliance issues, you're gonna be fined so much, you're gonna have,
So in
With
the temporary
stipulations.
ordinance, there are rules and regulations that if they fail to comply with certain rules and regulations, and generally the way this has been looked at is on the back end, right? We have a park that has been approved, they're on the books, and they don't have the right signage, or they're not turning in the paperwork to show us that the RVs are moving every 6 months so we can comply with FEMA and all of that, that we can certainly revoke and/or, remove their permit for that purposes. And we're allowed to do that under existing ordinances, and I think you agree on that. What we're talking about here is folks who weren't in compliance that we're trying to get in compliance. And, to the extent some of our folks have, like I said, nothing done intentionally, just, they didn't do it right, or maybe they thought they were entitled to 3, but they only were entitled to 2. The question then becomes, if once they received our notice, they came to the government and said, I want to be in good faith now, or I want to do what's right, please approve me. Do we want to still let those go forward, or do we not? And if we don't, and all I'm saying is whatever that decision is, I think at a certain point we should adopt a uniform rule, and that's really up to the council at this point.
Well, I agree, we should put something in there, because I know a bunch of trailer parks or couple spaces, put them in, and if I get caught, what's gonna happen? They're gonna slap me on the wrist, I'm gonna have to go fill out this paperwork.
Right.
But if now we put in there, you're gonna be fined so much a day. Until you,
Well, there are fines in the temporary ordinance. There are fines. I think it's up to $500 per violation per day. And so the fines on the temporary RV parks are actually pretty strict. And so that is what it is. The question becomes, the people who aren't in the system yet, what do we want to happen to those people? And if the council wants to say, if they started work too soon, and I don't care if they spent $300,000, we're not issuing them a permit, then, we probably ought to make that a little bit more strict in the ordinances. And so if the council wants to adopt a general policy like that, that's fine. Just be aware, it needs to apply across the board and to all persons. And, that's something clearly I think we need to look at because this issue keeps coming up. But you have to remember when we initially did this, it was kind of like the Wild Wild West, and what we were trying to do was encourage people to come in and do the right thing. And we didn't want to, hurt a local person who just simply didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, or, maybe somebody told them something and they acted on that, even though that's not what the law required. Especially if they spent $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on these improvements. So, it's a policy decision that I think the council needs to ultimately bake up. But to your point, right now, if there are significant violations in these temporary RV parks, and we had a meeting this morning, we have 32 violations, not all RVs, but a lot of them RVs, and we're starting that abatement program, and all that's about to happen. Hopefully we can get compliance back into shape. But we have pretty aggressive penalties on the temporary RV compliance side.
Have we fined anybody yet?
We have not, because we've just had a permanent RV inspector. How many letters went out on RVs?
At this current time, 7.
7. So we have 7 that we have. There may be more, but there's 7 that we have now where a letter was sent to them saying you're out of compliance. So we're going to schedule that on the abatement hearing. If we can't get them into compliance, then they will go before the abatement board and we can issue all fines and penalties that are authorized under that ordinance.
Haven't we sent letters out before?
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Haven't we sent letters out before to trailers that what wasn't in compliance?
We have, and some have come into compliance. Some of the issues are now what you're seeing coming before you. We've asked them to come into compliance, and what they did was come to the government and apply for a conditional approval, and that's kind of how this is being facilitated. So. If y'all don't want to approve any conditional approvals because at any given point in time over the last year or at the time of application or at the time of approval, they were out of compliance, then, that's good. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I don't, whatever you guys would like to do. I just want to make sure we do it uniformly across the board.
I agree that things need to be equitable, but they also need to be clearly spelled out. A policy. So on your website, is it clearly step 1, step 2, step 3? And then on the penalty, this is what's going to happen if you fail at any of these steps.
Currently on the website, it is spelled out. We have the checklist. We also have the ordinances, all from the beginning ordinances to the amendment ordinances. All they have to do is just click on a tab. It tells them how to start the process, how to construct your park. It also gives them the fees, the fines, and the violations, so everything is spelled out.
So if you fail to comply, this is what's going to happen.
It is in the ordinance.
Okay.
However, they do not read the ordinance, and permits cannot control that.
Well, in order to get something, they need to sign that they have read all the regulations.
Once they come
We need to hold them. Okay. So then I don't think we should approve something before the entire process has been completed, as Mr. Champagne said.
This is the process.
Until they sign saying that they have completed the entire process and legally sign, putting their name on the line that they can be fined or sued by anybody else for failing to complete the process.
Correct. And under conditional approval, it has to be approved by the council prior to issuing the permit. So they're in line on the steps. Now is the conditional approval. They did submit the application. They did submit the notarized affidavit saying that they read the ordinance and they know about the fines, the penalties, and the fees.
But yet, in this particular case, they were not compliant, is that correct?
Correct. They first had an application for 2 spaces. After the 2 spaces were approved, they came in to add additional spaces. Within that review period, with all of the department heads and the director of public service, all of that was approved, nothing was there. Now, between the time of February that it was introduced and put on the council agenda till today, as of yesterday, the inspector went out there and saw that there was an extra added. So at any given time, another RV could have been placed at the location without us knowing.
If in the interim, from when they signed and they say they understand the regulations and they are compliant, and then they fail to meet those regulations intentionally or unintentionally, when they sign, they say that they understand the rules. That means that if they fail, they're doing so knowledgeably. So I think we should have a penalty for that. And that would be equitable to everyone. So let's put another stage in there.
There is the violations and penalties.
So before it comes to us, if it doesn't meet approval, let's not have it come to us.
We did not know until yesterday.
Okay, but let's just say we have to have a last minute check, and if it comes to us and they're not in compliance, there's another penalty for.
In February, we did. However, it was on the agenda several times and deferred. In between that time, they added it.
Okay, so.
When it was first on the agenda, they were in compliance.
And I understand you may need help with checking to see if they're in compliance, and maybe we could add that to the person that's going to
Well,
go
we have
around.
2 full-time people now.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
that is getting done. We met this morning, and we're about to have abatement hearings next month. So
Okay.
we have our prosecutor, we have our hearing officer, and notices went out. Those deadlines have expired, and so we will have abatement hearings within the next 30, 60 days on anyone who's not working with us in good faith. The other thing I want to point out about Mr. Champagne said, you got to realize too, also, some of the departments are looking at it for different issues. So when Inframark is looking at the RV park approval, they're not looking at the rules and regulations about how many spots they're supposed to have or not have, or, anything like that. They're looking at, is this going to have a detrimental effect on the water supply system? Is this the right size pipe we need? All of that. And so different departments are looking at it from different issues.
Okay.
So I think we just need to make sure we understand that as well.
That might be a simple electronic process where we just have a file for each one, and different people sign in. So Inframark approves their level, and then it goes to the next step. That's approved, and it doesn't come to us until everything is approved, and they all sign off on it.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what happens now. The issue, though, is this isn't a static environment. So what was on the property 20 days ago is not necessarily what's on the property today, not necessarily what was on the property 60 days ago. So we can only go by snapshots in time that we have. We don't know what's going on every property and the entire parish 24/7. So I understand it's frustrating that we introduced this to you all to be approved, but if we didn't put our eyes on the property, like Ms. Amitra saying, we didn't know there was 3. Now, so, and even if we did know that at the time we introduced this, between now and then, something could have changed. So I get it, it's a little frustrating, but we can only know what we know throughout these snapshots in time through these inspections.
Okay, it sounds like instead of each department approving, that we need a single person that understands the approval process for every department and could do it all at one time. And if within 24 hours or 48 hours, however we decide, they have not met all the approval processes, and that one person giving the approval knows all the regulations, then it doesn't come to us. It gets pulled. So anyhow, I'm just saying, that's a process that we can automate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. LaFrance?
Yes. I want this board to know that this community, it's a disadvantaged community that I'm talking about. This community, at one time, we had a lot of issues with drug sales and everything. And I want to say maybe for the last couple of years, we was able to clean that up. And I'm mighty afraid if you put 36 trailer spots right adjacent to it, it's not a good idea for this community. I spoke to some of the people in this community. I asked, were they notified about a trailer park that's being right next adjacent to them? And they told me no.
They do not have to be notified under the temporary ordinance.
Yeah, okay.
The only time a constituent is notified for those type of reasons are for map changes purposes.
All right. And again, these are, the ladies I talk to, they have grandbabies and they're concerned about it. And they are totally against this. Again, we had drug problem in this community, in this area, and we got it cleaned up and everything's been operating good. This is not a good fit for this community. It's a delicate community, and I'm totally against it. It's not a positive move for this community. And I yield.
You know, I've heard some very moving, flowery words today: equity, uniformity, compliances. We as a council made this thing so political. It's so messed up that I don't know, Mr. Champagne, if we could ever straighten it out. Because the minute we as councilmen made it political for whatever reason, and we all have to own up to it, we the reason why this is messed up. Because we pick and choose who we let do it based on relationship. I don't know, but it's messed up. And so the problem is not just today. We messed this thing up. I don't know if we'll ever get it straight. I don't have it in my district, but as I travel through the parish, one of the things that's a scar on this council is how we deal with RV. The broad community understand that this council, we made this thing political for who we wanted to make it to, and I don't know if we can get it straight, because to me, it seems not about the regulation violation, the permit office, it's what we do. We change it when it's been convenient for us, and that's something we have to own up to, you know. And we could be in denial all we want, but we made this RV thing political, and I don't know if we're gonna ever be able to get it straight because the way it's set up. We're talking about with your situation. We've seen situations where people want to put that, but if certain people say, I don't want it in my backyard, it doesn't happen. Other people, it's okay. So we pick and choose. So I just hope at some point we get it together. And I don't know when we're going to do it, but we have to at some point be honest with ourselves that we as a council is not nothing with you. And I'm glad to see you. I was glad to see you. But I think it's buying a permit office don't have anything to do with the administration and this council. We made RV political, and I don't know if we can get it straight, because there's a lot of people who are really, read the word frustrated. People are frustrated about what we have done, how we pick and choose. There's a lot of people don't have a lot of respect for us. They don't think we're going to get it together because it's based on who we know. So I just want to add that to the process. Until we get it right, it's not going to be right. So we're calling for the question now. Any more comments? Call for the machine is open.
Hold on.
And okay, 4 noes and 1 yes. So passes. Fail, I mean.
Hold up a minute so we can write that exact stuff down.
2 abstention and 1 yes and 4 no, so it passes.
And look, I'm willing to meet with y'all if y'all want to go over this or look at it, or y'all need to take another look at it comprehensively. We can do that. I will tell you that it's complicated. It just is. And when it comes to you all, look, that ordinance is how many pages long? Like 14 pages long. And so the process is complicated, and you're talking about temporary, you're talking about permanent, so it is a complicated ordinance, and you really kind of have to do this on a daily basis to really grasp it all. So I understand that there's some frustration from constituents, and, you know, we're available. We're not here to mess with anybody or do anything improper or anything like that. It's just a complicated thing, the way the ordinances have been drafted. Now, if y'all want to try to simplify it or come up with something more comprehensive, you know, I'm here, so please don't say the legal department didn't meet with me or we're not available. I'm willing to do that with y'all, and I'm willing to explain it even in more depth so that maybe y'all have a better grasp of how we ended up where we are.
And I would say again, I don't see this being as complicated as us being fair and being consistent. I think it's our inconsistency. It's not complicated. It's us being inconsistent in how we make decisions. So I don't even think it's about complication. Next item, please. Thank you, Ms. Rose. It's always good to see you. Oh, okay. Next item.
7C and D are deferred. How do you want to take the rest of them? In Globo, separately?
C and D is what?
Deferred.
Okay. So y'all want to take the other than global, any objection in taking E to, is it M, or the last one is something after M?
It's something after.
You want to take, can we take E to P in global? Is there any objection to that? Okay, so let's take, E and, P and Global.
AMW 77 LLC, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, Riverside Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. Blue Dog RV Park, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, 121 Prody Drive, Bellchase, Louisiana. Fort Boothville LLC, Fort Boothville Campsites, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, 41073 Highway 23, Boothville, Louisiana. Gladys Trailer Park, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, Gladys Lane, Boothville, Louisiana. Goodman's Trailer Park, Inc., Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, Goodman's Lane, Eurus, Louisiana. Live Oak of Bellchase, MHP LLC, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, 11822 Highway 23, Bellchase, Louisiana. Min Nguyen Trailer Park, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, 159 Elizabeth Lane, Empire, Louisiana. MVS Properties LLC, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, 11189 Highway 23, Bellchase, Louisiana. Serrano Mobile Park, Sigfredo Properties LLC, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, RP Lane, Triumph, Louisiana. Southern Oaks Mobile Home Community, Inc., Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, East 3rd Street, Bellchase, Louisiana. Stumps RV Park, Stumps Supermarket, Inc., Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, 113 Stumps Lane, Venice, Louisiana. Venice Charters Unlimited, Brent Roy, Permanent Trailer Park Renewal, Emmett Lane, Boothville, Louisiana.
And I'll second. Any comments from the audience? Yes.
Hey, Rick Jackson, 126 Gondola Drive. Reference to Blue Dog. Again,
Hold on, oh, F.
that one wasn't in there? There's,
There's a
one
couple
was
of them.
red.
F.
The renewal was red.
F.
F, no, F, F.
F.
D been deferred, okay.
F.
Okay. Let me reset my clock.
Okay, what are you saying about,
What I'm saying is I attempted to file an official complaint about Blue Dog. I got a form from the parish, from Ronnie's office. I sent it to her and Ronnie, Miss Amitri, and it kind of went back and forth for a couple of weeks where I was asking, hey, what's going on, what's going on? And finally got a note saying from Ronnie that, hey, they got enough permits back there, don't worry about it. So the fact of the matter is, this is one trailer park, it's asking for a renewal. There's probably 80 trailers in there, 80 numbered spots. I've only seen one permit for 36 spots, but I never seen that in paper. I've seen people tell me what it was, but I never had any follow-up on the official complaint. There's no protocol. I don't think, that he sent it on to anybody else for anybody to look at it. He just sent an email back saying, hey, they got the permits, don't worry about it. It was pretty much done deal. So I'm completely against the Blue Dog. And the other ones back there too. There's 3 or 4 of them back there. They've tripled the size of the traffic coming in and out of Concord Road right there versus our little neighborhood. We had 40 or 50 people back there. Now we got 250 people on the same one single street, Brody Drive and Concord. So I personally would like, before this is renewed, to have my complaint followed up on and see how many trailers are there and how many permits he has. Because it clearly states in the code that it's unlawful, unlawful to build any trailer parks. Now, last week when I came in here and talked to you about the other trailer park that was in, you twisted my words around and said, oh, well, they only got one trailer park in there, one trailer in each one of the permits. They're allowed to have one. They're not allowed to build it till they get a permit. These were complete, it's unlawful to build it. And you guys have the authority to revoke, rescind, suspend. You guys have the authority to do that. I spent a half a day yesterday in Miss Old Francis district looking at his trailer parks. You got quite a bit of them back there. And I'll tell you, for the most part, I thought they looked pretty good. Wide spaced. I had the rules in my hands, 50-foot frontage, 5,000-foot square space in each one. You go look at those, take a ride in Carlton's area, look at his trailer parks, then take one pass through that trailer park and then tell me what you see. Thank you very much.
Any other comment? So we're taking them all together. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
This is for you, Ms. Amitra, again. You just heard that testimony. Is there any truth in your office? I mean, to know how many the original permit applied for, and if they ever came in to add additional spaces?
Again, I had feet to the ground yesterday until 4:15, 4:14 yesterday evening. Those spaces were 36 spaces, counted each and every space. Pictures taken, sent to me, and report F is in compliance.
Mr. Conover, I'm sorry.
Can we pull it out till he gets his questions answered? Well,
His question
know
was if they had more. They do not have more. They have 36 spaces.
well, he came in and filed a complaint in your office?
I don't recall that. And if Mr. Newsom answered, then I think his question's.
I get you. Can Mr. Newsom answer you?
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Jackson did send me an email about asking some certain questions, and did speak with the permit office, and again, like Ms. Mitra said, they're all in compliance with what they're doing. We gotta look at some things that, when you got permanent RV parks and temporary RV parks, that's separate. So this is an MH zone piece of property that, per our zoning codes, RVs are allowed in an MH zoned area. And it goes by the permit department sets the number they can have there, I believe. Is that correct, Ms. Mitra?
This is a renewal.
Right.
So it was already established as a trailer park.
Correct.
So for renewals, we have the health department and our inspector go out there to make sure that they're in conformity with the codes.
And are they?
As of yesterday, F, 121F, the one that is being voted on for renewal, is in compliance.
Okay, thank you.
Any more comments from the table? The machine is open for voting, and we're taking all of them together, right? That's from E to P. Okay. Machine is open. And it passes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 yes, and I'm voting no. Dr. Gu is out, and 1 abstention by Mr. Conover. Next item on the agenda.
Eight, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
Sit back and relax for a minute. The following are for Councilmember Edwards. An ordinance to amend the 2025 General Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Davant Summer Recreation Program Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, East End Water Projects, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating revenue and expenditure budgets to accept donations for Plaquemines Parish Day at the Louisiana Legislature, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget, legal judges department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next ones are for Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, District 3 Recreational Park Project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 Manpower Structure, Engineering, and Public Works Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to petition and authorize the application for a map change pursuant to and in conformity with the comprehensive zoning ordinance to rezone those certain properties located in Point Celeste Farm Subdivision Phase 1, identified as lots 18 through 26, 27 through 29, and 30. And additionally, Track A from floodplain district to heavy industrial I-3 district and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The following are for Councilmember LaFrance. An ordinance to amend and readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference, which is paraph thereto with reference to application number 2025-567 dated February 20th, 2025. An ordinance establishing a parish-wide temporary 6-month moratorium on the issuance of any permit or temporary RV and RV park permits, during which time a study shall be conducted to determine the need and appropriate legislation to regulate this issue and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142 from the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference, and which is paraphed thereto with reference to application number 2025-568 dated February 20th, 2025. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference, and which is paraphed thereto with reference to application number 2025-569 dated March 14th, 2025. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted in reference, which is paraphed thereto with reference to application number 2025-569 dated March 14th, 2025. Okay, one of those, let me make sure it's different. Okay, thanks. Did I read? No, yeah? Yeah. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, road repair, Milan/Caroline Drive, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plans, repairs, Diamond Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next ones are for Councilmember Jurasich. A resolution petitioning the state of Louisiana to officially name the entirety of Highway LA 3017 and proposed Highway LA 1261 Peters Road, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And an ordinance to amend the 2025 General Fund Manpower Structure and Operating Budget Legal Services Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That is it.
Next item.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage.
Let's get all the deferrals. Any deferrals? Withdrawal?
Yes, give me a moment. Okay, items, no, that's not it. No. No. No, none.
You don't have none? Okay. Hold on.
So you want to defer 1 and 2, right?
1 and 2.
Defer 1 and 2.
You deferring what?
1 and 2.
9-1, 981, and 982. Did you get that, Kemp?
And 9B.
9B?
Yes. We're still waiting for the report to come in on the soil board.
That's okay. Any other deferral?
Are we doing Shelton?
Okay, let's go, Kim. I mean,
We have one other item being deferred.
We have K being deferred
what
and
number are we looking at?
9K
9K?
Is in Kim?
and 9C. So Councilmember
As in
Schultz.
Crystal.
Hold on a second.
All right.
K, okay, and what's the other one?
C.
She said she?
C.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So with those being said,
Ready? 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 9A3, an ordinance creating the Belchase West Bank North Economic Development District, defining the boundaries thereof, from which area local sales tax increments will be determined and used to finance economic development projects in accordance with and as authorized by Parts 2 and 3 of Chapter 27 of the Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised of 1950, as amended, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
offered by Mitch, second by Zakanovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Mitch, you want to explain?
Yes. Mr. Marco, will you come up to the mic and explain this to everybody? It's, you know, she's got it down to a T, so. To a tiff.
A tiff.
Can I just say my name and everything?
Yes.
Kelly DeMarco, 232 Bergeron Drive. So this is a proactive approach. Can you hear me? Yes. A proactive, so this will set a baseline, a tax base for property tax, the assessed value of those properties, which is designated for this TIF district. We have several districts already outlined. This is the district most ready to move forward. When you have adoption or creation at that point, things are frozen. It's created at that baseline. So that's where we are right now. We're being proactive before the Peters Road Bridge comes in, because the property values in this area are smaller and, than other areas. So there are, the mapping does not go anywhere near Pie Street or in that area around the residents.
Explain, not over any residence area.
Right, so when we were designing the TIF areas, there are 4 in the parish that have been designed. We designed it around, we were very strict with the area, with the lawyers, that it was not around residents at all to build out the economic development. The things the economic development in that district can stand for, the money stays in that TIF area for infrastructure. So, for instance, sewer lines, water lines, even parks, roadways, sidewalks, that type of infrastructure can be used to develop that area. And I'll pause right there. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm still up. So basically, this is getting the tool in the box before we need it, so it's there when we're ready to move forward. And this area does need a lot of infrastructure work. You know, we can look at residents along East Bayou Road and all that. They keep asking for blacktop, stuff like that. We're talking about ATV park coming back possibly, but none of that's in the near future until development starts here. So we want to adopt this now. That way it's in place and we're ready. It's ready to go when needed. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to further explain that we're doing this now in this area of Belchase before any development occurs. That way, we have a greater chance of raising more funds for infrastructure. If we wait until after Peters Road bypass goes by and we start building a railroad corridor or warehouses and things of that sort, then more industry is going to be there already, and therefore we would get less money. So it's better to do this sooner than later. And I yield.
Well, me personally, I don't have enough information, on this. While it sounds good on paper, I still don't have enough information. So I'm going to, I don't believe in extending this. I'm gonna just vote no just because I don't just have enough information, on this. I don't know if this been vetted enough. I see some council members have some firsthand information on it, knowledge of it. But because I don't have enough information on it, I can't say it in good conscience. And I want to vote yes and then regret my vote. So I'm going to be voting no because I just don't have enough information on it. That's just me. I'm sorry, Ms. Kennedy. Oh, Connie. There you go.
When the TIF was voted on and passed in the state, that was one of the things that said the money collected in that area stays in that area. You can't spend it nowhere else.
Yes.
Huh? Well, this is something new coming along. The parish has lived off of 1 and 9 for 60 years. And now all of a sudden, when these other areas start collecting money, we can't get none of it?
It's not that you can't get it.
Well, I understand, but each one gets its own money,
Kelly DeMarco, 232 Bergeron Drive. So,
Oh, hold on. Let's hear what she's saying. You addressed Mr. Yanovich, right?
so for your area, you could build a TIF. The next TIF up, and the only reason it's not up yet is a corridor, is because you want to create the TIF when the property values are down, because that's your baseline. You don't want it up. You want to be able to collect the money for that area, that funding, in order to build the infrastructure. So right now, you put the tool in the toolbox for now. If you would like, we can build one we could design one for your area.
I understand you want it at the lowest and all, but FEMA took our toolbox away 20 years ago. And, TIF in District 9, I know the dollar store came wanting to buy Stump's grocery store and build another dollar store. Well, permit office told them you gotta go 15 feet in the air. Who wants a dollar store 15 feet in the air? So what are we gonna get down the road to collect any money to do anything, to build infrastructure?
I respect your opinion and thank you for sharing. At the same time, if you want to sit down and design one, you'll have that tool. So if something does come along, we're not being reactive, we're being proactive. I would love to sit down with you and build one in that area.
I'll build it, but, like I said, FEMA cut me at the knees. And
I'm not
like
next.
I
but I do
said,
have
since the 20s, Plaquemines Parish has lived off of District 1 and 9. And now that the all field's not there anymore, we're living off of District 7. And now we're gonna start these TIF areas, and the money's gonna stay in those areas to build infrastructure when our district's paid for the whole parish's infrastructure. Now, we won't get any benefit from the TIF areas.
I understand.
Champagne?
You understand your concern, but one of the ways you have to look at it is this will be additional funds going to Mitch's district that no longer has to come out of the general fund, which enables us to push more money down to other areas. And eventually, we can build a TIF around you. So it isolates that money there, and then now there's other money that's freed up that can go work in your area. And I understand your concern, we don't think that way. I mean, I gave up the impact fees for District 2 because I had the only construction going on, so they could be spent throughout the parish. So we are looking at things holistically, and I truly understand your concern, but I don't think that's the intent. I've seen Mr. Marco's plans for other TIFs, and I think it just gives us an opportunity to get more money, put it in certain areas. Instead of it going to the state, it comes here and gets being reinvested in our parish as a whole, thus freeing up more money in our other accounts to spend in other areas that may not have TIFs. I yield.
If I may, one more time, for this particular TIF, This helps the port with the rail realignment, because as they're building out the rail realignment, that's part of an infrastructure, and that funding would support the port's rail realignment.
Yeah, but so, and again, I'm not an expert on TIF, but the TIF money will be money that, is it correct, that's going to say the tax or the sales tax or whatever?
Property.
It's all strictly property
Yes,
tax?
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comment? Machine,
Should we say where the map is for this one? Just verbally,
It's in the legislation.
back to the people.
I saw the map, Machine is open. And it passes 1, 2, 3, 4. It passes with 5 yes and 1 no and 1 abstention for Mr. France and Councilman Gouy and Schultz is absent. Next item.
Hold on, if you would elect me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mr. President, can y'all let me know, and send it to all of us, the impact money for District 7, with Venture Global and everything, how much money that was and where did the money go? Not now. Yeah, just send it.
I'm gonna clear the machines.
Don't put y'all on a spot like that.
Next item, please.
4, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of a portion of Eclipse Lands Property, Section 31 T20S R29E, Triumph, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, into lots EL1 and EL2, Section 31 T20S R29E, Triumph, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated August 2nd, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered and second. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open for voting. And it passes 7 votes for all council members present. Next item, please.
D, an ordinance declaring a temporary housing need continues to exist in Plaquemines Parish pursuant to subsection 6 of section 12 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So often.
This is D, right?
Yes.
Okay, it wasn't showing up here, okay. Been offered by Mr. France. And second, who's second? Mr. Konovich. Any comments from the audience?
David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. Listening to the 8 under ordinances and resolutions, we're talking about a moratorium coming up, and now we're talking about additional housing needs. So this is confusing when we're, did we not read that in 8, wanting to introduce a moratorium for RVs? Yes, and that's what I'm getting at. Now we got here that we're saying that we got housing needs.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think you're confusing, it's kind of apples and oranges.
Maybe so. Maybe
The temporary, this declaring the housing need exists is what allows temporary RVs to exist in the first place.
Right.
So this is the horse before the court. And so without this, all temporary RV parks have to disappear in a couple weeks. And so that's what this is. So this is extending the need, which then allows you to put temporary RVs out there without the necessary proper zoning. The moratorium issue is something that came after. And so that can exist with this. So this isn't saying like necessarily more housing's needed. This is what this is really saying is that certainly the existing housing is needed and more may be needed while they work through some of these other issues.
No, and I totally understand what you're saying. I know what it means. And the point I'm bringing up is we put a moratorium out there a couple of years ago or 2 years ago that we were going to fix the problems. We didn't fix the problems. We didn't address it. We had 2 meetings. It wasn't very organized and nothing came of it. And now we're talking about another moratorium. Now, I realize this is to keep the temporary RV parks going, and I'm not saying get away with the temporary parks. I'm just saying that nothing's consistent here. Either we have them or we don't have them.
I think we got a point of order here, because you're talking about an issue that was just introduced today. You should be talking about the extension, this ordinance right here. So in 2 weeks, when that other issue comes up to vote, then I think that's the time to come and express your opinion about that ordinance.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. So this should definitely be deferred until next 2 weeks from now.
It
so we
can't
can
be
have it all
done.
together.
It can't be. We've got to move forward on this now, just like Mr. Burris said. If we don't move forward on this, all of these RV parks, they have to pack up and move out.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just, with comments that were made earlier, we've made it political, my opinion, but what I'm looking at, and I'm not against the temporary parks. I'm not. We have a need for them, but.
Chairman, can we move?
Yeah, we can. You finished, Mr.?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? Administration table? Yes.
All this does is we passed it, 5 years ago to have temporary trailers. If we don't pass this now in 2 weeks,
3 years ago.
they all gotta take everything above ground out. And, people who spent $10,000-$20,000, they gotta get rid of all that stuff. And this just gives them 3 more years. Doesn't give any new trailer parks, any new permits or anything.
Yeah, and again, I'm clearly understanding what this is, and I would hate to have people penalized who followed all the rules and do stuff, but I really believe we have to change our ordinance, but I understand that you're saying it's this is just to keep what's there. Machine is open for voting. And it's,
You're just gonna do that again. Go ahead.
Vote again.
Vote again?
Yeah.
no, I didn't vote no. I want to vote yes for this.
Verbal yes?
Yes, verbal yes.
Slips it.
Thank you.
Is the machine working?
You want to see how the vote went first, huh?
Oh, no. It didn't make a difference if the vote went any kind of way. I made the statement earlier.
It slips it when you play marbles. Slips
No, but I made the statement earlier. I understood what this is, so I'm not changing it to how it's seen. But- Next item.
E, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, finance and accountant department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer it.
Second.
Second. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table. Machine is open for voting. And it passes with all 7 council members present. Next item.
F, an ordinance to amend the 2025 public health fund operating expenditure budget, ambulances, general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and this has changes. Changes, Kim.
Okay, on lines 6 and 7, we are removing the language that says it's coming from the general fund unreserved undesignated fund balance. It will now come out of the fund balance designated for emergencies. On line 16, the same language is being removed, general fund unreserved undesignated fund balance, and inserted is fund balance designated for emergencies.
And the amount should be $60,000. So we need to offer that amendment. And the reason we're just doing that amendment, we've been going back and forth with the parochial system on this. We actually asked for it like more than a month ago. When I informed her of the council meeting this week, she finally sent what we have to believe to be the final numbers. And so it's 58,000 and some change. So we're going to ask that this is
This
F?
is about ambulance department.
What?
It's about the ambulance department.
This is for.
Yeah, this should be F. Yeah,
Retirement.
yeah, I'm talking F.
Okay.
The current amount is 190. I'm saying we should make it 60. Yeah. And so that's what we believe is actually owed. And so if we can amend 190 to say 60.
I mean, oh,
That's better.
few minutes. Few minutes.
I did.
One more
The
time.
changes, I guess.
I'm hitting it, but there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll make an amendment to, I guess it'd be on line 4, to change 190,000 to 60,000. And also on line 24, 190,000 to 60,000. And I offer with that amendment,
Second.
and where else?
I'll second.
16 also, line 16 from
You did
1
say 16.
and 24. And with that, I offer that amendment and ask for a second.
Second.
The member been second. Any comments from the audience? Administration table, voting on the amendments. And the amendments pass. Now we're voting on the actual ordinance
That's what it, well, that's.
As amended.
as amended, yes.
Mr. Champagne. No, you by yourself over there.
Miss Dr. Good.
And it passes.
Thank you, Brent.
7
Saved
yes.
us some money. Thank you.
G, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Waterworks and Sewage Fund operating expenditure budget, Waterworks and Sewage Operations Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Yeah, I would like to amend this. I do not, oh, unless, I offer it.
Second.
You could amend it before you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And so anyway, is that I'm really not comfortable with the amount in here. I talked to Jeff the other day, I think you was there, Mr. Newsom. And he said he would have to come back because you don't need all this amount. And I thought he was gonna offer a member today for $500,000 and then come back as needed. And so I would like to amend this to 500,000 right now and let him come back as needed when he need the rest.
Well, you gotta offer.
Just,
We,
Offer it
we-
in a second.
we need a second. We had the offer.
I offer.
We need a second.
Fine, a second.
Yes.
I thought we had discussed $1 million, break it in half.
No, I didn't say anything about breaking half, not when I talked.
Okay, my conversation with Jeff was that y'all were gonna amend it to $1 million versus the 2.
No, you was in the meeting. Did we
I
say a
was.
million? Did we say a million? It was 500. That's what I heard.
I thought it was
I
$1
think-
million. I was sitting there on the phone.
The several conversations I had, it was $1 million. This fund is normally, this budget is normally funded by the millage that was voted down in November. And that millage normally raised about 2.2 million. So the 2 million in the ordinance is in line with what the millage brought in. Right, there's between 400 and 500 that, pretty much will be used immediately. So I'll have to come back almost immediately with another ordinance. And the conversations I had with several council members, it was to amend it to $1 million and then potentially come back towards the end of the year with another ordinance.
But I don't know what other I can only talk about the council member with Newsom. I don't know with any other council member. And I specifically remember only $500,000. So I can't speak for other council members, but I know that's what I heard. If you heard something different, I didn't.
It's your legislation, whatever your wishes are. It's-
Yeah, I'll amend it to the $1 million.
We need a second? We need a
Yes, second.
I'll second.
Any comments from the audience? From the audience, administration, and then we are voting first of all, just to amend it to $1 million. The machine is open. And the amendment passed to 7. Now I'd like to offer the amendment with the changes of $1 million. I didn't get a second.
Second.
Not time to vote. We gotta open it to the floor.
Huh?
Yeah, we gotta open it to the floor.
Any comments from the audience?
We got comments.
Gotta take.
I'm sorry.
On the amendment.
On the
On
amendment.
the ordinance as amended.
No,
Take the voting down.
Was voted on the ordinance as amended.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Nobody from the floor.
Conover?
Yes, and I know I brought this up when y'all first got in. I work for a living. I can't go to meetings at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I get off at 3:30. If y'all would have had a meeting in Port Sulphur for 4, I could have been there. But I didn't hear nothing about it on the side of any meetings. So I talked to the Infomart, and he said all he needed was 500,000. So,
Who said they needed just 500,000?
so we gotta pay, we owed the city of Orleans Parish that kind of money for water we buying from them.
They're talking different.
That's a portion of it. Infomart put together a list of priorities with the wastewater plants. I think I sent that spreadsheet out maybe early this week or last week, with about 380,000, I don't know the exact number. That's critical needs at the wastewater plant. That will be done with this fund. We don't have enough in the budget to do that at this point.
It goes back to the voting on the millages on the last administration and this administration. You see other councils or parishes, when they have a millage up, you see nothing but ads on TV, Facebook, flyers. Well, I know the last administration never sent out anything. That's one reason it failed. I'm sure people would want to be able to flush their toilets. And, it wasn't explained to them what the millage was about. That's why they fail. And the sheriff gets out there and, he tells people what they want to hear, and this one will probably pass. So that's where I'm at.
Mr. LaFrance?
Yes. So when we do our budget hearing in November, this is going to reflect the new, the cost. You will have it on the budget, in the budget book for the budget hearing?
Yes, sir. This was not put, this was not discussed during the budget hearings because that vote hadn't gone to the public yet.
So now it will be updated when we have
Yes,
it
sir.
on our budget.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
It will have to be addressed, yes, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, I'm kind of like, I got a feeling you're gonna be coming back to us pretty quick because I've talked with them from Walk and All, and this probably still won't cover us through the year, from what I understand, because, the price of everything has gone up and so we're just putting a Band-Aid on something right now, but in all honesty, you know, the people did not understand the millage. And we all know, you know, that goes by your property taxes, and a lot of people didn't have to pay it. You know, low-income families didn't have to pay it. So now we're stuck here with this. And it's inevitable. We either got to try to get a millage back on the ballot, or, you know, it's sad to say, we're not going to be able to keep doing this every year. You know, it's gonna keep draining the budget. And I hate to pass that cost on to each and every citizen by having it added to their bills. I mean, you know, we already here, we got poor water pressure and stuff. Last thing I want to do is put, you know, anything else on a water bill right now. But so I think in the interim, we have to do this, but we need to work on getting the millage back on the ballot.
Also, above and by what Jeff was saying earlier, what he was alluding to earlier, that millage created about $2.3 million. But Rochelle also said that we were still short about $500,000 on an annual basis. So really, it's between that 2.8 and $3 million is what we need for that.
Ms. Champagne, I'm sorry.
To caveat on what you're saying, President Hinckley, one of the things we could do is look at taking over, supplying our own water in the city of New Orleans, that the city of New Orleans supplies, because their rates are exorbitant. I know Infomark's looking at that now with Jeff DeMarco, and if we do that, that'll be a significant cost savings. So Jeff, thank you for looking into that. But Mitch, you touched on something serious. You know, no one wants to say it, but by God, we have to pay for water. How about you said you want your toilets to flush? That ain't free. Chemicals aren't free. There's a cost. And we cannot supply water for free. The parish does not have this large ass of funds. We don't have extra money. This $2.2 million is going to hurt. You know, low-income families were not going to have to pay if the millage would have passed. Now everybody pays. And the rates will have to go up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because if not, we have to cut. And where do we cut first? Well, you'd have to cut the things that are not required. Let's say maybe council on aging. Do we cut there? I wouldn't want to do that, but that's a nice to have. Do we cut the health department? We have to start cutting. Do we start cutting jobs? That's the hard questions we have to ask. And I don't, you know, could we have done a better job on the millages? Yes, but I think, you know, after two times going to the well, people should have said, what are we trying to do here? I know I put it out on my sites, but, and again, I know in my district it passed. And we were the ones who were going to have to pay. And it's sad because right now people are going to have to make decisions. Can they afford food, medicine, or water? Because the water bill is going to go up. We shouldn't be there. But by God, we have to do it. We're improving our infrastructure on a daily basis. This $2.2 million we're going to have to take out of Hyde could have went to redoing the water system. Hell, we just started to get the water pressure up at the low end of the parish. I was with Councilman Jurisic yesterday. He was getting reports of the water pressure's up for the first time in months. That's because we're making improvements. That stops now when we run out of money. If we can't get grant money or we don't have matching funds for that, we have to take a hard look at what we're trying to do here. I'm not opposed to putting the millage on the ballot, but we have to understand the second order effects. If it doesn't go on the ballot and doesn't pass, everybody's paying. And the water bill, it's going to go up every year as it is. Now, I've talked to Jeff, and Jeff's doing work with Infomark to try to come up with cost savings measures. Providing our water in Orleans, the Orleans Parish water, substituting that. Looking at, making all these repairs, finding leaks. We are making headway. But we can't keep taking this out of Hyde because the money we were getting from Venture Global, we had a fat wallet for a while, but it's diminishing every year. And in a couple of years, we're going to find ourselves making hard decisions. So if we want to put this millage on the table, again, I'm not opposed. We need to really be talking about it. I know Infomark gave us some hard answers of what does it really cost for us to make water and provide water? And then what does the maintenance cost? Laying it out and making sure that people understand that what we're talking about is not trying to overcharge and have this extra surplus of money that's spent somewhere else. Bottom line, dedicating those funds to the cost of providing you clean, reliable drinking water. And I say reliable because right now it's not really reliable down the road. It's not. And we are trying to fix that. So I just want people to be aware there's going to be a time we have to answer the mail and we have to either start paying more for this water or pass this millage. We need to make the hard decisions up here again and make sure our people understand. I yield.
And I agree with you, Councilman Champagne, 100%, that it's clear that we have to raise it. but we have to come and know just how much we're raising it for. But at the same time, we got to give people better water treatment. If you got people with low water pressure and dirty water, then I don't care what you say, because I'm not getting quality water. So we got to do several things simultaneous. I mean, it's no question we got to go to the people, but when we go to them, at least that we giving them, the pressure's not bad, the water is clean. So we have to take all those things in consideration, because to go out there and ask people to do it. On these banks, we don't really have a problem with millage, because we don't have no property. I tell people, any millage go out, we don't lose, you know. So that's a fact, right? But you still got to understand you're going to have to pay more at some point for water. I lived in another area, so I know we pay the lowest water, so it's no question. But if we're going to ask people for more money, we got to give them better water pressure. We got to give them better quality water. And I don't care what you say, you can put it on, it's going to fail again. So there's some work that we have to do collectively. And I agree with you. As councilmen, we got to get out there and push the bullet. But at the same time, we got to do better with the service, because right now, people are not happy. I know that's both these banks, people have serious problems flushing their toilet, you know, and other stuff. I'm going to pay some extra money, then I need to be able to flush my toilet, you know, and that's fine. So I'm glad to hear that there's some improvement, but we got to show that and demonstrate that to people. So I'm with you, understanding that, and I tell people, we're going to have to raise the price, there's no question about it. But how do we do it and match it with businesses? And see how much we can charge business the most. And now people say, you know, business do a lot for us, but can they do more? You know, and balance that out. So once we find that out, then we can go to the residents saying, this is how much we do. But we got to try to get it down. Because remember, we come from a parish where one time we didn't have to do this. So we some spoiled children. So you don't expect all of a sudden when we didn't have to pay for stuff now, you tax this. Because we was a period of time where, you know, that was the pride, you know, we paid less than we didn't pay nothing for a lot of services. But those days is over. But you got to remember, those people growing and was used to that, you know, and now they're homeowners, but they have a different mentality. So there's a lot of education on all of our parts to do it.
I agree, the price of living is going up. But before I vote to go up on the water bill and the sewage, I want to be able to turn on my tap every day and not wonder if I'm going to have a trickle or stream. I want to flush my toilet. And when you talk about quality of water, CPRA should come use our water. Because I sent Robert a picture, and I'll show it to y'all. I had a 1/4 inch of sediment in my toilet bowl in the tank. That's coming out what we're supposed to be drinking. So before I vote to charge the people more money, we're going to have to give them a better quality of water.
Machine is open. We're voting on increasing it to $1 million. That's what the vote is. And it passes with 6 with 1 no for Mr. Conovich. Next item, please.
H, a resolution approving and authorizing Rochelle Morel, Comptroller, to execute a Louisiana compliance questionnaire to Calder, Slavin and Company, LLC, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offered. Second by Mr. Jewett. Any comments from the audience? Table? Cut. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brox. You know what we're on now, right? No, I think you missed your turn. This is on the controller position, H. H. Authorizing Rochelle, controller, to execute a compliance questionnaire.
You do that every year.
Something that y'all do every year?
Yeah, questionnaire standard.
Yeah, I thought when it said appliance, you know.
Questionnaire, a compliance questionnaire. That's okay, we're good.
My question is this the same company that we've always used, or have we changed companies? Does anyone know?
Same one.
Same one? Okay.
Yeah, same one.
That's it, thank you.
Machine is open. And the ordinance passes 7 with all council members present voting yes. Next item.
I, a resolution establishing a local ITAP committee in accordance with Section 549 of Title 13, Chapter 5, Subchapter B of the Louisiana Administrative Code, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
Second.
Offered by Champagne, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open for voting. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there a representative from the council in here? 26.
What it say?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, machine is open for voting. And it passes 7 with 2 council members absent. Next item, please.
J, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, repairs sewer lift station project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
I offer and ask for a second.
It's been offered and seconded by Mr. Carter. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table. Machine is open for voting.
Councilmember LaFrance.
I have a question.
Oh,
Where we are with the lift station in Happy Jack?
I'll get an update and send it to you on that one.
Okay.
and it passed with all council members voting yes. Next item, please.
L, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2448, which currently prohibits the erection of billboards along Highway 23 from the Gulf Intracoastal Waterway up to the Alliance Refinery to now cover the area from the Gulf Intracoastal Waterway to La Rusite and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Second with changes?
No, that's just indicating how it changed from
Okay.
the last ordinance.
So I'd like to know if we can change this, amend it.
Councilman.
Can we amend this?
Well, I offer, I need a second
Second.
first before we can discuss it.
She did second.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
What I would like to know, if, my mic is not working,
Q in.
sorry.
Got a Q in.
You gotta cue in. You have to cue in for the mic.
I would like to add Woodland Highway to the restriction of additional billboards. I've talked with Mr. Champagne about it briefly, and we already have two-sided billboards, and I know that infrastructure is coming in, businesses are coming in, and I'd like to add Woodland Highway to this restriction.
Mr. Newsom.
Yeah. I know that your district and Ms. Champagne, I think it would be appropriate for a separate ordinance to do that. I think it'd be appropriate. I think it'd be appropriate for a separate ordinance if that's your wishes. And let's just vote on this one.
I'm sorry, Mr. Conovich.
Yeah, explain it to me.
When we passed, when we amended it, a couple of council meetings, it went from Intercoastal Canal to Alliance Refinery. And what I'm doing is moving it from Alliance Refinery to Laura C, about 300 yards.
Further north.
Nobody could put up a sign.
In between Laura C and the Intercoastal.
Nobody can put a sign between that area.
But presently, you have them.
It's actually opening up the space a little more. It's on the north end, it's given from the industrial canal, intercoastal canal, north of the parish line, which was prohibited. Now it's including that. Now you will be able to put a sign. And then on the lower end, from Laura Seat down to the old plant, it's now allowing that area to have a sign.
So it's not stopping nobody from putting a sign.
No, it's actually allowing someone to put a sign.
Extend or reduce?
Mr. Champagne.
Lower seat. You know, we hear lots of our constituents come up here, particularly come up to the mic and talk about what a beautiful bedroom community we have and how nice it is and how we can't have all these unsightly things. Yeah, we want to put billboards up. That's just what I want to see, slip and fall attorney billboard signs up and down our beautiful parish. I'm concerned about that. You go anywhere else now, all you see is, if you know, Gordon, whatever, everywhere. I don't want that. I want Lamar-style billboards in our beautiful bedroom community. If that's something we want to open ourselves up to, I'm on the record for saying I don't want it. This place is beautiful. We don't need to ugly it up with billboards. And plus, this is a dying method of advertisement. Social media is where it's at. If you want to advertise your business, get on social media and blow it up. That's where everybody's at. I just think once you have these things, once they're built, they're up there and they're ugly. I yield.
Skonovich.
Goes back to, I don't want it next to my, but move it down the road. Every time you hear something wanting to be built up the road, we don't want it here, put it down the road. Well, if I build a business in Belchase, let's say I get on Woodland Highway, the corner of Belchase Highway and Woodland, I'll build me a Tractor Supply. I can't put a sign in front of my business?
It's not a billboard. It's a sign.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. I might put a big sign, so.
But excuse me, I think there's a distinction between a billboard and a sign. You know, that's what I'm hearing. If a person got a business, I think that's automatic soon they can put the name. I think what he's talking about advertisement stuff. Mitch?
Yes, is this for personal use for the man's businesses, or is this to put one up to rent out for advertisements? That's where I think the question is. You know, I mean, because I'm not opposed to somebody putting something up to advertise their business, by their business. But, you know, next thing you know, they renting them out and, you know, making profits on, which I get, I know what it's, you know, where it's going, I know. But is it for an individual business to advertise their own business? Is that what this is for, Mr. LaFrance?
I don't know, but the area that we are talking about, no one lives there. There isn't any home there, the area I'm talking about.
Okay, because I'm looking, so this would open everything from the Gulf Intercoastal Waterway?
No.
No.
No, okay, I was looking at it.
It's prohibited,
Okay. To the Lions Refinery.
It's prohibited from the Intercoastal
So you're
Canal.
moving the lower line up to La Receipt?
Yeah, I'm moving it 300 yards.
Okay, but my question would be, is this for personal
Again,
gain, you know, for personal advertisement of a business? Because I have no problem with personal advertisements, you know, signs and signage. I understand what Mr. Konovich said as well. You go in that corner lot, you ought to be able to put a sign on your corner lot. So I get too, we don't want billboards in residential areas because hurricanes, you know, everything, they become a risk. Because you see billboards knocked down all along the interstates and all. So I'm kind of mixed on this one because I'd like to know if it was for an advertisement of a personal business, which in that area is wide open field. I get it. You know, but we just have to be careful how we pick and choose, like we always say. I yield.
Back to you, Mr. LaFrance.
I'm good.
Back to you, Mr. Shamp. If I can, I'm trying to get you there, you go.
Yeah, I just want to correct. I'm talking about big billboards for personal business. By all means, I mean that's what you want to do is advertise your business. I just want to see a gigantic billboard that's advertising things that aren't even in our parish. We don't need that. I think they're ugly. That's it. I'm not opposed to signs at all, and I'm talking about throughout the entire parish, from one end to the other. I know we already have some billboards. Nothing we can do about that, but I just don't want to see it become billboards from one end to of the parish to the other.
Machine is open for voting. And it passes with 5 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. Next item, please.
M, an ordinance establishing the expenditure authorization for the parish president and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kokavich.
Offer for discussion.
Okay. Any,
You in, Mr. Conklin.
it's the daughter.
You want Q? There you go, you put him in. Yeah.
Yes, we sat here a couple years back, did the same thing to the port director because we could never get answers to what we asked. So here I am, and y'all voted for it to get me professional service contracts. Still waiting for them. I don't know what we spending. I don't know how many contracts out there. I don't know how many POs out there. I don't know how many jobs are out there. So if this is a way to do it, or if I could get 4 other people, 5 other people to vote for it, I'll move on it.
Any other discussion? Mitch?
Yes, has there been any progress on getting Mr. Konovich what he's been asking?
I've told my people to release whatever Mr. Koknovich wants, and I've also told finance to run a vendor report for anyone he's interested in receiving any funding. So I haven't heard anything on this issue in several months, if not more than a year now. So I was not aware that this is, still a problem. I mean, you can come to my office right now and look at every file we have. I mean, I have not told anyone not to release anything. So I'll be honest with you. I don't know why this is still an issue.
I shouldn't have to ask every month for what I wanted. We passed the ordinance here saying to give it to me.
I agree with you, and what I'm saying is I've never told anyone not to give you anything. I've told my staff, I've told the financial staff, I've told everyone to give you whatever it is you're requesting. I know you've requested different things at different times. I'm just telling you, I've never instructed anyone, and the parish president has also said, give the man what he wants. So I don't, I'm just being honest. I mean, I don't know what it is.
You say I never asked for a couple of months. I shouldn't have to ask.
Well,
I've passed the ordinance, and I asked numerous times, and Mr. Garrett asked, and I've yet to get it.
So your request, is there specifics? Can you give us
Like every professional service contract you've done.
We'll get that to you
I've
next
told y'all
week.
numerous times.
All right, we'll get it to you.
Mr. Burris, is there a way to put those on a share file that instead of sending us to us, we can just log in and take a look and, instead of having to send things back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, I keep files in my office that Ms. Trahan has. So she has access to all of the contracts that I have. Now, I don't have every contract that's approved by the government. And you got to think about what a contract is, right? I look at all the contracts that the president has to sign. So anything the president signs, I have. If finance, I'm using finance. If solid waste engages with a third party to do something, and it's not a significant amount, it's under the public bid law amounts, that doesn't come to my department. That's handled internally by the solid waste department, not me, because the president's not signing it and it doesn't meet certain thresholds. So I wouldn't even know that contract as a general matter exists. Anything the president signs, and certainly the contracts under the legal department, I have. And I have them, and I think the departments have them as well. And not only that, when finance goes to make payments, for the most part that I'm aware of, all those contracts are uploaded into logos so that the sales accounts payable has the backup documentation to know that that's an obligation that should be paid. So there are multiple sources of information related to these contracts. They're in logos. The department may have them. All the ones the president signs and all the ones that I have. And,
So
I don't know what
simply,
more I
if they're in Logos, is there a way that you can just log on and see what everyone wants to look at?
You want to send to them?
the easy.
You don't? Oh.
I mean, the easy thing may be, put them on Laserfiche. I mean, I don't, maybe there's a way to get with Kim and they can be scanned into Laserfiche, and the council has access to all of that, just like you do. Okay, well.
I just think, I thought we solved the issue when Mr. Hinckley said he was sending it to them. I think like we're going back. No, I'm not saying you did. I'm just trying to say, I thought the issue was solved. So Mr. Hinckley is saying that he would get you the information, then you can just come back and say you didn't get the information. But my hearing is that whatever you want, they would get it to you. So I don't think getting into filming and all those things is the issue right now. He had made a commitment that he would get you all the contracts that you asked for. And so I think that should solve the problem. Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating revenue and expenditure budgets and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
And we have changes. We are removing the revenue and in the preamble. The same thing on line 11, the word revenue and has been struck out. Budgets.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, sweetheart. Now, I got it. Start all over again, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. On line 1,
Okay,
we are removing the words revenue and. On line 11, we are removing revenue and. Then also we.
wait, on 11 you said?
Yes.
Hey, you need this one to change it.
Okay, that's what's wrong, because I know what I'm looking at is different. Okay.
Go ahead.
And then also on line 11, we are changing it from plural to a singular budget, scratching out the word are, and insert is. In the chart, the number 250 in the object code has been struck out. Legislative liaison general has been struck out. And the amendment amount of 76,000 has been struck out also. It now reads in the chart, object number 534.515, consultants, lobbyists, and it's a decrease of 69,000.
That our offer?
Offered by Mr. Kotnovich. I'll second. Any comments from the audience? Administration?
Yes. We're in the middle of the session right now, and we're using these lobbyists. So we're gonna, we've got meetings set up with.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
With the Senate President, with Senate President Cam and Henry. I mean, there's just so much going on right now, and you're just cutting our legs off right now. So I don't understand, why would you want to do this?
Well, you cut me off at the knees when I was going to Washington. I had him working on the national park, which you should be backing me with 100%. Then I called him the week before we supposed to leave. You fired him, so he's not working on it because the parish owns the fort.
And the same person that he was going to set you up with, you had a meeting set up with.
Oh, he
with
was getting the
Cassidy's
national
office.
park and all too. They sent me an email
thing.
while we was over there, you meeting with this girl.
I did not even know you guys. When did I find out about the Fort Jackson? I didn't find out until we were sitting down at lunch one day at Justine's at Change's place. When you told me, you said, "Oh yeah, we're going to DC next week with the port, the director. We're talking about bringing a vessel in at the MSRC site so that we can have tours at Fort Jackson." I didn't know anything about that.
That's if we get it in national park. You don't get it in national park because MSRC's going away. So the port will have
what I'm saying is that was the first day that I had.
But you came to us I need him, I need Vitter, because I was
Okay.
voting no. You
Well,
said you needed him,
here's-
so I changed my vote
I
to
can
give
tell
it to you.
Hold on one at a time.
Okay. Look, let me tell you, we've hired some individuals to represent us. They produced zero. Now, Mr. Vitter, he worked with us, but he was not focused on parish government. Mr. Vitter seems to be more focused on the ports business. So that's why I made the decision that I did to get someone that's going to focus on us and us alone, where it's not intermingling with everything.
That's
So
where it
we've
goes.
got someone
Well, let it
now,
finish.
we have an individual now that will focus on Plaquemines Parish government. And they're doing that right now, and they're doing a pretty good job. In a short notice, we did, okay, you wanted a meeting with the Parks Service. Well, I was given, 3 or 4 days, when all of a sudden you call or someone calls me and says, Vitter won't even make a phone call for me. You know, in all reality, he should have made a phone call for you.
I know he should have,
He should have.
but
But here we are.
there we go back to when you wanted to hire him, you came to every one of us
Well,
that needed him.
he came highly recommended.
But when you
okay?
wanted
Hold
to
on
fire
one at a
him,
time. It's kind of let him finish and
when you
then
wanted to
let him
fire
hear you.
him, you didn't come to anybody. You just fired him and hired a new one. You didn't come ask us, I want to hire these people because he ain't doing the job.
Okay, well, these guys are doing the job and they can do the job for you.
About the first.
You for it? Okay. Next item, please.
10, approval of the minutes from the April 10th, 2025 regular meeting.
So offered.
Second. I doubted there's any comments from the audience, right? Administration table, machine is open. And all council members present voting yes. Next.
11, new business, 11B, District 7 update. Update on,
So I take it, the reason we don't have the lobbyist here today because he's working in Baton Rouge?
They're up in Baton Rouge.
Okay, such a. Deferred?
So you deferring all of your thing on this?
Yeah,
topic?
that's all I.
Okay, okay.
adjournment.
No, they got, oh yeah, we did,
Secret.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Machine is open. The meeting is adjourned at, I don't see the clock,
4:10.
4:10.